fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. I'm going to have a short episode today. What I'm going to do is, I had about a 4.5-hour episode with Ron Speakman that came out yesterday, Saturday. And so I'm going to have Mallory put that link up on the description part of this episode, okay? So if you've not heard it, go listen to it. I'm not going to download it onto my episode like I said I would, because Ron wants those downloads for him as far as monetization. I get that. So, yeah, just on the description part of this episode will be the link to that. Go check it out. A lot of hard truths in there, kind of my history, where I came from, where I'm going, and the things that the CLC is going to do when we take over this union. But everything I ever talk about is fact-based, okay? It's fact-based. I will never lie. Because once I get caught lying, I will forever be a liar. And so you will never catch me lying, because I don't do it. I've always got receipts, and like I've always said, I keep receipts. And so anything I talk about, it's not for political gain or anything like that. I'm going to come straight from the heart. I'm about the city letter carrier. All I care about is a city letter carrier. And so everything I do will be about the city letter carrier. People get their feelings hurt. That's fine. I'm going to do everything I can to advance the plight of the city letter carrier. I had an individual call me from the New York Times the other day. We talked for about an hour, and they're thinking about doing an article. I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody I can about the situation of the city letter carrier from both sides, the Postal Service and my union, because both sides are letting us down. And we are going to make change. Step by step, we're going to make change to the city letter carrier craft one way or the other. There's a lot of infighting right now. I'm going to address some of that in just a second. The CLC has gone from being the hunted to the hunter. And so they are the alphas, the top dogs right now, and that's only going to grow as soon as more of the ticket comes out. But a lot of things out there talking about the CLC, that's good. That means we're on people's minds, and that's what I like, good or bad. And so we're coming. We're lions doing lion-type shit, and that's exactly what's going to happen, right? So I'm going to talk about a few things today. I've got kind of a salted peanuts type episode. Got some shout outs. Got some things that Mr. Henry did last week that are pretty damn awesome as far as California and those carriers affected by those devastating wildfires out there. Also got some discipline I want to go over. I asked permission from the individual that sent it to me. People send me discipline all the time. We go over it. I love beating discipline based solely off the charge. And we can request things and we'll get into it further like that, but I like to beat the charge. Labor's too damn stupid to write a good charge, and local management doesn't have a clue what they're giving and what they're issuing. And so anytime we can get that, it's a head start for us. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Ron Speakman's episode and something that came out today in a Zoom call with my brother, Mr. Cariff. Going to kind of clear some things up like that. Because like I said, I will never, ever be dishonest. If I tell you something happened, take that shit to the bank. It happened. I keep receipts. All right? And then we're going to be done with that petty ass shit. And so, once again, going to have a brief episode. I want you to listen to Ron Speakman's episode on Fed Up. And like I said, it's 4.5 hours, so that'll take you a majority of your route. And so, but it's good stuff. I liked it. Like I said, he asked me a few questions. I'm brutally honest, and I thought it went well, kind of where we're coming from, like I said. Got a few shout outs I'm going to do that people have sent to me. Let's get those out of the way. This person said, this is a long shout out but I hope you do it. Absolutely, I'm going to do it. You send me a shout out. I don't care if it's 5 pages long. I'm going to read it. If you're going to take the time to send me one, I'm going to do it. All right. So it's, hi, Corey, can you please send a shout out to our 3 union stewards in branch 4430, to Josh, Isabel, and Carla, our 3 musketeers. They recently tried to run for branch positions besides their stewardships, but did not win. They were perfectly gracious about not winning in the election, but the incumbent president would not reappoint all of them as stewards. He reappointed just one and scheduled himself and our returning vice president to come to our office twice a week and serve as our stewards. Our carriers are pretty upset about this, and I don't blame them. I think that there needs to be a union presence on the floor. I've always thought that. I think there needs to be a union presence on the floor. But anyway, that's none of my business. So last Thursday, our station had record turnout at our branch meeting to get our stewards reinstated. It did not go well because our president was being vague and frankly dictatorial, saying things like, "It's my right, and this is the way it's going to be right now. I'm working on what I'm doing," but would not say what he was doing. However, the love and support from our station to our 3 amazing stewards was very intense and moving, and that's fantastic. I felt so proud to be part of this team that stood up when it was important. Huge shout out to Jose, our past branch president and vice president, who made the motion to reinstate them and helped everyone understand the protocols and the branch history of this kind of issue. But also Jose and many others said they had never seen this sort of removal before, even though many stewards had lost elections in the past. No one could cite a time when they had lost their stewardships, pointing to the idea that there should be a very good reason not to keep them as stewards. Our steward had a petition with 47 signatures from our station, a huge majority of our carriers. The whole thing was quite intense, but the president would not reinstate them. But wait. The next day, the president changed his mind and he did reinstate them. So credit where credit is due. Here's a little nod to our president too. Thanks for doing what is right. But big, giant shout outs to Josh, Isabel, and Carla, our 3 musketeer stewards who always have our backs, and we will always have yours. Thanks, Corey, for all your great education, too, and Alan Gigax, who has been sharing his similar situation also. You are giving us confidence in our voice and courage to fight. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I told you a while back, this is a ground roots uprising. It's happening. It's coming. There's nothing anybody can do about what's coming, just like that vote, right? There's going to be record turnout in 2026 to vote the CLC into office, and that way the city letter carrier will be back over this union like they should have been, okay? And so absolutely, man, I'm going to keep inspiring, motivating, cussing, and educating until that happens, because I'm a city letter carrier. I was delivering mail yesterday. I'll be delivering mail Tuesday in 20 degrees. I deliver mail to this day. I've been doing it for quite some time. I hate where my union's at right now, and that's the reason I've become so vocal. And I don't think that it's how it's supposed to be. As my agent, I pay you good money to do a good job, and you don't do shit. And so I love stories like that. That's absolutely fantastic. Here's another shout out. I think I just got one more. It says, Corey, listen to your latest episode the other day. Great stuff as always. If you don't mind, I would like to give an anonymous shout out to the educators out there, starting with you and everyone involved in your podcast. You're now currently up to 210 episodes. I'm a new steward with hardly a year under my belt. You have a route and are a rep in your office, and you're an advocate and whatever other things you are involved in that I don't know about. Then after all that, you go home and put this podcast together on your own free time and don't ask for a thing in return. 210 episodes of education on your own free time. Shout out to the other educators who answer all my questions, share their materials on battles I'm fighting that they already fought. No matter how silly the question is, no matter how busy they are, they too also have routes to do, carriers to defend, and lives to live. Without the selfless badasses out there, a lot of us fledgling would still be trying to figure out how to fill out an 8190 properly. Thank you for all you do, and thank you to all the other badass educators who give us new stewards a compass. Whether it's taking phone calls or sharing materials with others, we would be lost without you. I would have resigned as a steward only a couple of months in due to a bullying supervisor, and the best mentor I could possibly ask for dropped what he was doing and talked me out of it. Now you couldn't pay me to tap out. So there you are, and I appreciate that very much, and I agree. There's some badass educators out there. JB, one of them. Poskin, one of them. You got these others on other podcasts, Richie Ray, Gigax, Cole Billups. You got a lot of people out there educating, right? John Murphy's another one that have said, hey, I'm going to take my time and educate the people. There's nothing more powerful than that. It's time consuming. Trust me, it's time consuming. I just don't sit down here and start talking. I know it does appear that way sometimes, but I don't. It's time consuming on a Sunday, your only day off, to get on here, pull up sites, look over discipline. You have things that you're going to talk about, topics you're going to talk about. But yeah, but I love educating my people. I love it. It's one of my great passions is to educate. I love seeing all the victories y'all are having based off of things that y'all are learning from the podcast. And so that's absolutely incredible. Got some raffles going on I want to read about. Here's one that says, get your tickets now. My Union Hall NALC branch 4374 is having a fundraiser for our Eldon E. Young Scholarship. Pictures below of prizes. $50 squares to win $250 a quarter, which also puts you into the raffle to win a 70-inch smart TV. Also, $1 tickets to win $500 football wrapped in cash. $300 worth of scratch-offs. 2 packages of Lions gear valued at $350 a piece. Only $1 ticket to win. Don't have to be present to win the prizes. Anyone can get tickets. Contact me, 810-937-8406, or Steve Rubino, 586-822-3741. And this is Colleen Wood. I'll read that again. Colleen Wood. Get your tickets now. My Union Hall NALC branch 4374 is having a fundraiser for our Eldon E. Young Scholarship. Pictures below of prizes. Of course, you can't see that. $50 squares to win $250 a quarter, which also puts you into the raffle to win 70-inch smart TV. Also $1 ticket to win $500 football wrapped in cash, $300 worth of scratch-offs, 2 packages of Lions gear valued at $350 a piece. Only $1 tickets to win. Don't have to be present to win the prizes. Anyone can get tickets. Contact me, Colleen Wood, 810-937-8406, or Steve Rubino, 586-822-3741. So there's your raffle. Here's another one. Music City Branch 4 is having a bowl-a-thon for MDA on March 30th, 2025 from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Smyrna Bowling Center in Smyrna, Tennessee. All proceeds go to MDA. Registration is $30 a person. Teams of 4. Price includes lanes, shoes, and a gift bag. There will be raffles, door prizes, and silent auctions. Registration is required in advance. Contact Lisa at 615-883-7687. Everyone is welcome. Lots and lots of fun for all. Can you please shout out this at the beginning of each podcast until the event ends? I will. So that's my branch, Branch 4, Music City Branch 4. Is having a bowl-a-thon for MDA on March 30th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Smyrna Bowling Center in Smyrna, Tennessee. All proceeds go to MDA. Registration is $30 a person. Teams of 4. Price includes lanes, shoes, and a gift bag. There will be raffles, door prizes, and silent auctions. Registration is required in advance. Contact Lisa at 615-883-7687. 615-883-7687. Everyone is welcome. Lots and lots of fun for all. So there you have that. A pretty amazing thing happened last week, and I out of the devastation out there in California. And there were some pictures put up on social media where the carriers were in the station. Brother James Henry was there. The RAA was there. The local branch president was there. And they did a lot of great things. A lot of times carriers just want to see a friendly face. It doesn't matter who it is. They want to see a friendly face, especially from their union. That does mean a lot to know that somebody out there cares enough to come out there and see them. And so a lot of people are saying that was just a photo op. That's how fucking petty people have gotten with James Henry, is that there's a photo op. It's really disgusting. Now, you got Renfro, who's a true piece of shit, based off his record of lying and compromising and conceding and backing up and his failures to represent the letter carriers. And you still have people out there that will say negative things about James Henry, who has done nothing but protect city letter carriers from the day he started. I don't understand it. I understand he's running for president, and he's got very thick skin. That shit don't bother him. But it pisses me off because the man's done nothing but represent city letter carriers and has done it better than anybody else. Damn sure done it better than anybody else running for president right now. And so anyway, they said it was just a photo op. Here's what happened. He goes out there with Alan Rios, who's the RAA, as well as the branch 2200 president, Sirop. And they go out to the station and they realize the carriers have nothing. They don't even have the fatigue mats to stand on casing the mail. Now, there's no houses, right? The whole thing is burned down. And so they put them in this office, this warehouse with cases, no lighting, no stress mats or fatigue mats. They have no uniforms. Their houses are burned down. It's abysmal. And so James Henry goes out there and he has an exit interview with the postmaster, and he's naming off all these things that he sees, right? And he also goes out there to show support to our brothers and sisters. Now, mind you, your president has yet to go out there. He has yet to send Manny Peralta, head of safety and health, out there. He refused to allow the disaster relief fund rep, Miss Christina Davidson, to go out there, saying that was too expensive. So here's your president, hasn't called, hasn't gone out there, hasn't sent Manny Peralta out there, refused to allow the disaster relief fund rep, Miss Christina Davidson, to go out there just to be a friendly face. Who gives a fuck about airfare right now? We've got hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. And when I talk about you're out of touch with us, that's what I mean. You don't understand the importance of somebody that has lost everything, seeing a friendly face. That's worth all the money to them. To have somebody come out there and say, hey, look, everything we can do, we're going to do it. You're going to be okay. Everything we can do, we're going to do it. Hang in there. Help is coming. Your president doesn't understand that. Why? Because he wasn't one of us and still isn't. The fact that Manny Peralta didn't go out there is a shame. Director of Safety and Health. But anyway, so James Henry does go out there on his own dime. And so he talks about several issues that they have. Now, here's the numbers that they sent out. CA3, I guess that's California 3, 16 evacuated, 2 employees confirmed lost their homes. Now, this is all personnel are reported as safe and accounted for in all districts. 95 employees have been evacuated. 17 employees have lost their homes. Okay, so 95 employees have been evacuated. 17 of our brothers and sisters have lost their homes. So you had CA3, 16 evacuated, 2 employees confirmed lost their homes. CA4, 35 evacuated, 8 employees confirmed lost their homes. CE5, 36 evacuated, 5 employees confirmed lost their homes. SoCal Division, 8 evacuated, 2 employees confirmed lost their homes. Property, 5 offices are closed. And so they go out there to check up on our brothers and sisters. And here's the things that they found. Altadena carriers did not have fatigue mats at their case. The carriers are used to delivering mail. Now they are standing approximately 7 hours with no mats provided, just 7 hours standing on the concrete. Now what they told them to do is they're going to take their breaks and lunches at the same time. So that's 50 minutes we're going to take all at the same time. So they're standing over 7 hours casing mail. They did not have lighting when casing mail. They were using headlamps. The carriers did not have stools at their cases, so they're standing over 7 hours. They did not have satchels and or other items lost in the fire, such as rain gear and hard hats. They did not have badges to get in and out of the building. In the staging area for the customer pickup, the carriers are forced to squat, kneel on the floor, working on trays when collating mail. And so these are the things that they told management. These are our issues. So James Henry has an exit interview. That means when he's leaving, he's saying, hey, these are the things we found. What are we going to do about it? Okay? So here's what they said. This is the next day. January 14th, they went in, told them their things, told them their concerns, and January 15th. Altadena carriers do not have fatigue mats at their case. The carriers are used to delivering mail. Now they are standing approximately 7 hours with no mats provided. Management says mats have been ordered pending shipping information. Gave the eBay number. Another point, they do not have lighting when casing mail. Management comes back, moving carriers to a more permanent location to install electrical. Tentative date next Monday, 1/20. We met with employees on Monday, and they made us aware an issue was addressed. Another one, the carriers do not have stools at their cases. New stools will be delivered by Friday, 1/17. They do not have satchels and other items lost in the fire, such as rain gear and hard hats. Satchels on site 5 provided to the employees carrying today. Remaining will be provided by February 1/17. They do not have badges to get in and out of the building. Several employees' badges are expired. The team is working on them at the moment. Tentative completion by close of business the next day, 1/16. In the staging area for the customers' pickup, the carriers are forced to squat, kneel on the floor, working on trays when collating mail. FSS caster delivered on 1/15 to help the staging area. Widened mail staging area on Wednesday as shredders are moved to a different area. And then I heard today that the Postal Service went in there. They sized every one of the carriers. They're getting them all new uniforms and rain gear. They're getting all those things for them. So kudos to them for stepping up and helping out our people by coming in there, sizing them, telling them, hey, we're getting all your uniforms and your rain gear. And so we'll take that. I'll give credit where credit is due. But thank you to James Henry, to the RAA, to the branch president for going out there. First off, letting our people know, hey, we're here for you. That means the world to us as city letter carriers when that happens. That means the world to us. You've got people that have lost every single thing that they had, and they're still coming to work. They've lost everything. Their homes. They've been evacuated. They're still coming in there under deplorable conditions. So thank you to James Henry for going out there, being a presence, letting the carriers know that, hey, we do care as the NELC. Your president isn't here. The head of safety and health isn't here. I'm here to let you know that, hey, we've got your back. And that does mean the world to us. So kudos to those that went out there to help our brothers and sisters who have lost absolutely everything. I want to go over some discipline somebody sent me. And here's what it says. Now, anytime I'm dealing with discipline, you're going to just the charge. So you got to be thinking about, when I'm reading it, what comes to mind. You're always going to start with the just cause principles, right? That's your blueprint for for any discipline, no matter how bad. It's your blueprint. The just cause principle. We've got 6 sub-questions of just cause. What are they? What can I find in this discipline that's going to help me with that? You're issued this letter of warning for the following reasons. This was issued December 26th, 2024. Charge 1, improper conduct. Mr. So-and-so, you have been investigated by the OIG, and your investigation has been reviewed and investigated by this manager. While on duty, delivering to the such and such city hall, you made an improper comment to a customer who is an employee there, Miss So-and-so, by saying to her, "You look fine in that outfit." Something you admitted to during your PDI held 12/12 with your NALC representative. You have also had inappropriate comments to the custodian of the such and such post office, saying to her you would not last long, but you would eat it for a long time. Something else you admitted to saying during your PDI. So we're going downhill quickly. Another customer at this address of this station development community said you asked her bra size. You are not truthful during your PDI by answering no to the question because you told the OIG you may have said something about her chest to her. You were asked during the PDI, have you ever had a conversation with and or made comments to any female on your route of a sexual nature? And you said yes. You were asked if you said to a customer in this business development, damn, you're looking sexy. You said at this address, no. But this was the same lady, you said something about her bra size. You were also asked if you said to her, let me know if your husband doesn't do it for you anymore, you will hit it. She said that to you. If this is true, why wasn't this said to the OIG? And what happened to this lady reported you? Why didn't you tell this to the OIG or to the manager or to me when this was talked about? Now that writing is terrible, but that's exactly how it's written. We're missing words in there. So I'm going to read this last part again. You said at this address, no, but this was the same lady. You said something about her bra size. You also were asked if you said to her, let me know if your husband doesn't do it for you anymore, you will hit it. She said that to you. If this is true, why wasn't this said to the OIG? And what happened that this lady reported you? Why didn't you tell this to the OIG or to the manager or to me when this was talked about? And those are very good questions, don't you think? If that's true, management has some very good questions on this disciplinary notice. There's a problem, right? What's the problem? Those questions should have been asked before the disciplinary notice. One of the 6 sub-questions of just cause is, was there a thorough investigation completed? Right? This is the employee's day in court to answer to the charges being brought against him. It's our most important day. There's no more important day in discipline than our day in court, the investigative interview. It has to be thorough and it has to be objective. And it must be done before the discipline is initiated, right? So if I get a disciplinary notice, like this notice, and I look on here, and this is what management says. If this is true, why wasn't this said to the OIG? And what happened to this lady reported you? Why didn't you tell this to your OIG or to the manager or to me when this was talked about? That's a great question that should have been asked before the issuance of the discipline. So I'm going to say my very first contention is going to be that management has failed one of the 6 sub-questions of just cause, and I have proof of that in the disciplinary notice, because management's obligation under one of the 6 sub-questions of just cause is, was a thorough investigation completed? How can you say that it was when you're continuing to ask questions in the disciplinary notice, questions that you don't know the answer to? Why? Because you didn't ask them to me in the investigative interview. You waited until the disciplinary notice to ask me questions. It's too late. And so you're acknowledging, that's evidentiary proof that you're acknowledging that you did not perform a thorough investigation because you're continuing to ask questions of me in my disciplinary notice. And that's going to be my first contention, right? On the very first page, last paragraph, management asked several questions. It's too late. They should have asked that in a pre-disciplinary interview. They didn't do that. They waited till the discipline was already issued before they asked the questions. He goes on, your conduct was improper during these times and it cannot be tolerated. Your conduct is bad for the brand and frightening to the customers. I urge you to change your behavior immediately. We agree to do that, okay? And that's what I'd write it up. We're going to ask this discipline to be rescinded and expunged and reduced to a 16-2 discussion, and that the behavior will change immediately. And we'll agree to that. Relevant regulations in this matter include but not limited to the following, and I'd ask what that means, because it seems like they're trying to circumvent you're charged with the following, whatever, because it says relevant regulations in this matter include but not limited to the following. Employee and Labor Relations Manual states in part, Section 66513, discharge of duties. Employees are expected to discharge their assigned duties conscientiously and effectively. 66515, obedience to orders. Employees must obey the instructions of their supervisor. I didn't see anything in this disciplinary notice that says any supervisor told me to do anything and I didn't do it. I'm going to have to look at that investigative interview, and I'm going to have to see if there's any questions about, did Supervisor John Doe ever tell you that your behavior is inappropriate or that you cannot talk to customers a certain way? And that's not the any darn fool rule either. That's not management coming back and saying, well, everybody knows that you don't talk to people that way. That's not what the charge says. The charge says employees must obey the instructions of their supervisor. So somebody must have given me an instruction. I better have been questioned about that in the investigative interview. It says if employees have reason to question the propriety of a supervisor's order, then the individual must nevertheless carry out the order and may immediately file a protest in writing to the official in charge of the installation or may appeal through official channels. Section 665.6, disciplinary action. Postal officials may take appropriate disciplinary measures to correct violations. I can't violate that. I can't violate that right there. And so when I write down my contentions, I'm going to say management has cited 665.6 against me. Disciplinary action. Postal officials may take appropriate disciplinary measures to correct violations. In arbitration, I'm going to ask the manager how I violated that. How did Mr. So-and-so violate this provision right here? We didn't. Well, it's on my disciplinary notice. This is no different than a charge in court, right? Whenever they hand you disciplinary notice, it's no different than a charge in court is the disciplinary notice. So everything on here must be factual and true. Handbook M41, City Delivery Carriers' Duties and Responsibilities. 112.2, Diligence and Promptness. 112.21, Obey the instructions of your manager. There it is again. And so the investigative interview better have questions pertaining to some instruction I was given by some manager that I failed to follow. 112.22, report for work promptly as scheduled. Got a problem with that because nothing in this charge says that I was tardy, AWOL, nothing like that. So report to work promptly as scheduled has nothing to do with what we're charged with. 112.23, complete time records to accurately reflect the hours employed each day. What does that have to do with this? I wasn't charged with falsifying my time records, right? It sounded like I was charged with improper conduct, things I was saying to customers on the route. And so I'm going to have to ask, how did I not complete my time records to accurately reflect the hours employed each day? 112.24, display a willing attitude and pour forth a conscientious effort in developing skills to perform duties assigned. They may be able to manipulate that into something, but it is hoped that this official letter of warning will serve to impress upon you the seriousness of your actions and future discipline will not be necessary. If you're having difficulties, which I may not be aware of, or if you need additional assistance or instructions for improving your performance, please call on me, or you may consult with other supervisors and we'll assist you where possible. And so it goes on to say the other shit. So there's you some more discipline. Anytime you want me to read your discipline, I will. We'll go over that charge and we'll beat it solely off the charge, and I think you'll be very successful with that. All right, beating that off the charge. I want to go on to one last thing, and then I'm going to drop this forever. Okay? I'm going to drop this forever. In my episode with Mr. Speakman, he asked me about the situation with my brother, Mr. Cariff, and the CLC, right? How that kind of got the way it was. It chapped my ass because I felt that Mr. Cariff could have done a better job of explaining what happened rather than letting things just kind of hang out there and make us look incompetent. Unfortunately, there was an episode today on a Zoom on the Next Generation of Carriers podcast, and he kind of doubled down on some of that. They asked him to rebut what I was saying, which you can't. You can't rebut on what I'm saying. It's factually true. And so he had said a few things on there. I'm going to touch on it, and then I'm going to be done with it. Now, Mike and I have talked today since then, right? And talked about coming on, doing some different things, what have you. I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to be done with it, and let Mike run for president. And the CLC is going to do the same thing. May the best man win. James Henry's not going to get involved with all this shit. That's not who he is. He's about the business of protecting carriers, and he's going to do that as our next president. Unfortunately, there are those that can't let shit go. And everywhere they are, every time they speak, they have to disparage the CLC for some reason or another. Maybe it's just politics. Maybe that's how they do politics, and that's fine. Renfro ain't said shit about nothing. I mean, I'm sure he thinks he's got it sewed up because you have two different people battling out for president. He probably feels quite comfortable. He will lose drastically in 2026. But some of the things that have been spoken by certain individuals is that there's no transparency with the CLC. Now, as far as I know, we're the only ones that have a 5013C. We're a not-for-profit. So anything you want to see about us, you can look that up on our website, concernedlettercarriers.com. And they also said that, what kind of group we are. We have no bylaws. We have 38 pages of bylaws. So they come out and just say crazy-ass shit. I guess people won't look that up, and they'll just kind of associate us with not knowing what the fuck's going on. We have 38 pages of bylaws. But here's what kind of the topics that were talked about today. And I want to talk about them. Like I said, I'll be done with it. All right? And then my episode will be over with for today. Mr. Cariff was on a podcast today, is on a Zoom, and they asked him kind of to rebut what I was saying. And some of the things that he was saying were bizarre at best. And they made no sense to me. Well, I'm thinking, you have a room full of highly effective grievance writers. And so when you say things, I always come at it that angle. I don't know why it is I do that, but I'm always like that with management. If they say things, can I prove that they're wrong? Or in arbitration, what would I say to them? That's just how my mind works. I don't know why. I hate it. I do it at home. It drives my wife crazy. But there are high-level individuals in this meeting. A lot of big-time presidents in there. You got national officers in there and others like myself. JB was in there. So these individuals are high-level grievance writers. They get things ready for arbitration. They're high level at that. Some of the highest levels are in this meeting. And so Mr. Cariff wants to make it like we were ambushed in there by this individual saying we're going to make this committee. We're going to make this committee. It blindsided everybody, and we just laid down and let them make this committee right there in front of us. That makes no sense whatsoever. He said everybody had all these questions. that we just didn't ask. That's not anybody's fault but your own. If you're in a meeting and you have a lot of questions didn't get asked, that's on you. All that is raising your hand and saying, hey, why are we doing this right now? Or, hey, maybe this is a little bit premature. Or, hey, I don't understand what's happening. Can somebody explain it to me? But you can never come out of a meeting saying that, well, when we got in there, man, we had so many questions that weren't answered because we didn't ask them. That makes no sense. In arbitration, you get shredded up on the stand if you came in there with that. Because I'd say, show me the questions that you asked and they weren't answered. Or show me how many times you raised your hand and they overlooked you. I don't want to ever hear anybody say I was in a meeting, we had all these questions, we didn't ask them, and that's the committee's fault. Or that's whoever's running the meeting's fault. If you had questions and you didn't ask them, that's on one person and one person only. That's on you. He continues to attack the CLC, which is bizarre, because as far as I know, nobody on the CLC has said anything about Mr. Cariff. Matter of fact, I think they've all been quite gracious to Mr. Cariff. Hell, he's even been on here. Now, lately, I've kind of gotten sick of it because it's just been going on and fucking on and on and on. And so finally, with Ron Speakman, I said, hey, here's what fucking happened. Because I'm getting kind of sick of this shit. You need to move the fuck on and be done with it. Run your campaign however you feel like you need to run it, but to continue to chastise the CLC who did nothing but help you and put their arms around you and console you, that's a fact. To continue to do that, it makes you look smaller and smaller and smaller. But he says there was a lot of stumbling, that they couldn't even get a Zoom together. That's not true. Dates changed on the Zoom, but this is a fledgling organization. And so dates would change. We'd have a Zoom set up and those dates would change for one reason or another. But you had 2 years. This was 2 years out. He continues to talk about Mr. Henry, even though Mr. Henry will never say any unkind word about Mr. Cariff. He was talking about that he was kind of shocked that James didn't have any questions for him. He asked James a lot of questions, almost like James didn't know he was running for president, talking about vetting. And he said he didn't even know that James was going to run because James was the status quo and he was not an agent for change. Now, Mr. Henry's been up there 2 years. Mr. Cariff has been there 10 years. Now, who is the status quo? And who is it that has sat by and refused to be the agent of change? Mr. Henry's been there 2 years, immediately got stabbed in the back, and the very first opportunity he could, the COPs start coming out, and he says, hey, I am going to make a change. I am going to be an agent for change. After just a couple of years of seeing what I've seen, the things that I've had to endure, watching my carriers suffer under this leadership, after just a few short years, I am going to be that agent for change. Or the individual who says, I've been here 10 years and have sat by and said nothing. This is the type of shit that we all wanted to stay away from. But I get tired of the same old shit all the fucking time. It's the constant chastising of individuals who did nothing but what they were supposed to do. You had a meeting where they all said, all agreed, this is how it would be. We're going to form this committee. Everybody agreed. Nobody raised their hand and said, we shouldn't be doing this already. Nobody raised their hand and said, what's happening? Nobody. But now all of a sudden, a year later, we all had questions. Didn't nobody have a fucking question? If you had a question, you'd raise your hand. Mr. Cariff was the one who wanted the vote. Everybody thought that that was premature. He was the one who said, we have to have a leader in place so that they can start designating things. That is a fact. Too many people heard that, and too many people know. They asked him, do you have a problem with us going ahead and voting? They asked Mike that, and he said no. Now, all of a sudden, it was rushed. Then they asked Mr. Henry, do you have an issue with us voting for president? He said no. So they have the vote. They have the vote. The very first one who voted, they asked him, pros and cons, both sides. He talks about how well he knows Mr. Cariff. He talks about how well he knows Mr. Henry. And he says, I throw my hat in the ring for Mr. Henry. That person, the very first one to vote, was the Illinois State President, Mr. Louis Rivas. The Illinois State President. He was the first one to cast his vote for Mr. Henry. These are facts. I don't understand this bizarre attempt right now to rewrite history of what happened. This is the shit that happened. You asked for the fucking vote. You were the one who implored them to vote. Then they tell you, are you okay with us voting? Do you have a problem taking the vote? No. And then they asked James Henry the same thing. Do you have a problem with us taking the vote? No. So they take the vote. Now today, what does he say? This haphazard ass board. That's what he called it. Talking about the committee, talking about the board. This haphazard ass board. If you go and listen to it, I wrote this shit straight off of there. This haphazard ass board is what he called them. I'm going to read you the text message that Mike Cariff sent to James Henry immediately after the vote. This is Mike Cariff's text message to James Henry. Now remember what he said in this. If you listen to, I think there's only 19 people on this Zoom. But he talks about the discombobulation of this board, the discombobulation of the CLC. He calls the board this haphazard ass board. And this is what he says to Mr. Henry. My brother, we have a lot to talk about, but I'm excited. The CLC officers are absolute leaders for our union, and they are confident in you, which gives me a lot of confidence. Now, this is that same haphazard ass board that he's talking about. What's happened? What's happened? Is it because the vote didn't come out like you wanted? I said before, if you're saying, hey, I wanted to be the president, so if we vote and James Henry wins, man, I'm going to wish y'all the best. I'm going to go run. Right? I wish y'all nothing but the best. Good luck to you. May the best man win. But I'm going to go run. You don't say, my brother, we have a lot to talk about, but I'm excited the CLC officers are absolute leaders for our union, and they are confident in you, which gives me a lot of confidence. I still think they're quick on the draw there, but they had obviously thought about it already. So that's that a decision has been made. I'm going to help you in any way I can. Trust and believe that. I'm going to read it again. My brother, we have a lot to talk about, but I'm excited the CLC officers are absolute leaders for our union, and they are confident in you, which gives me a lot of confidence. I still think they were quick on the draw there, but they had obviously thought about it already, so that's that. A decision has been made. I'm going to help you in any way I can. Trust and believe that. And that's exactly what we did. We trusted and believed that he was going to help James Henry in any way he could. And in the next Zoom, he talks about a lot of people had contacted him from the CLC, a lot of people from Region 3, and didn't agree with it. What had transpired. And to me, if I give somebody my word and I say, hey, I respect the decision of the board. They thought about it. Obviously, they had their minds made up. Each one of them went around and gave the pros and cons of each and voted. I respect that, James, and I'm going to help you in any way that I can. My word is my bond. That's all I've got. Whoever comes to me after that and says, man, you were done wrong, you should have run, you should have done this, you say, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. I respect the CLC leaders. I put it in text. I respect the CLC leaders. And whatever they said, they've made up their mind. And this is what we're going to go with. This is who we're riding with, because I gave my man my word, and I gave others my word that this is what we're going to do. So I'm not going to listen to all that negativity. My day will come. But right now I'm riding with the CLC. I'm going to support James Henry. We're going to back him. We're going to build him up. And that's what we're going to do, because I put it in text. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to hear all this other negativity about they got it wrong or whatever. That's backbiting. That's backstabbing. We're not going to have it, because that's poison. That's cancer. That's what you do. You don't say, hey, a lot of people came to me and said y'all got it wrong, so I'm going to fuck everything up. I'm going to fuck it all up. Because some people came to me and said that y'all got it wrong. Then your word doesn't mean anything. Your word doesn't mean shit. This is the last thing you said, brother, and this is the one thing I took exception to. I didn't betray nobody. That's what you said. I didn't betray nobody. Let me tell you something, my brother, Mr. Cariff. You betrayed me. You betrayed me. Because you gave me your word on more than one occasion that you were riding with the CLC and that you had James Henry's back. You gave me your word on more than one occasion. Everything was going to be okay. You supported their decision, and you were going to support James Henry, and you were going to be part of the CLC. That's what you told me. You betrayed me, my man. I've had you in my house. I've come up there several times. You have betrayed me. And maybe I'm a nobody. Maybe you consider me a nobody, and that's fine, my man. That's fine. A lot of people feel that way about me, baby. But when you say I didn't betray nobody, I take that personal, my man. I take that personal because you betrayed me. This is the last I'm going to talk about it. This is it. The CLC's got more important things to do than sit here in this mud walling around with somebody. They're not going to do it. They've moved on. They're preparing to win an election. But I'm the one who has set time aside for you to come down here and sit in my house and get in here and do episode after episode after episode, even pumping up Care for Prayers. You've done that. We've laughed about it. We've had a lot of phone calls. We had a lot of things like that. And you continue to attack the CLC, and you continue and continue and continue. You have lost sight of what's the most important thing. What are you going to do for the city letter carrier? That's what you need to start talking about. What are you going to do for the city letter carrier, and how are you going to improve that? You don't have to put a ticket together. It's just you. So tell your agenda. Tell what you're going to do, and do that, and win the election on that. Quit dragging us around. They don't want anything to do with it. All right? But yeah, when you say that you didn't betray anybody, brother, you betrayed me. You sure the hell did. I wanted you to be part of the CLC. I wanted you to be on this ticket more than anybody else. I did. And I told everybody that. I thought you were going to be a hell of an individual for this ticket. I wish that you would have stayed with it. I wish that you would have kept your word and done that. Everybody thinks that you would have been hell for the CLC. But you decided to go your own way, and that's fine, man. That's your right. But how you did it, it's a problem. It's a problem, and it continues to be. You're bitter, you're angry, I get it. But you need to let it go, my man. You got to let it go, baby. Right? I will always be your friend. Whenever I see you, I hug your neck because I love you. I will always love you. Right? And but on this here, you're wrong. And just say it. Say, hey, I fucked up. I'm wrong. I was dishonest to a friend of mine. I betrayed a friend of mine. And I feel bad for it. Just do that. And let's move the fuck on, man. And may the best man win. Right? May the best man win. But god dang, dude. every time you're on something, you're taking shots at the CLC, and we ain't done nothing. We're trying to improve the lives of the city letter carrier. That's all we're trying to do. If you got issues with us, call people. Talk to them about it. You don't need to be out here parading your shit around everywhere all the time. Every time you're on something, CLC this, CLC, fuck, man. CLC ain't said one thing about you. There's a reason for that. They don't care. You're not in their crosshairs. We're trying to get something. A better life for the city letter carrier. That's what we're trying to do. We're taking back over this fucking union. You should be excited about that. You should be encouraged about that. That there's another party out here saying, hey, we hate how the union is now. You may not agree with all of us. That's fine, baby. But dude, you got to move the fuck on. But just let it be, brother. There are receipts out there, my man. God dang, there are receipts out there, brother. These are high-level union people. You think they ain't got receipts? Shit. Anyway, I love you, man. I love you. If you ever want to come down here, come on. Come on, I'll take you out to dinner. I wish it would have been different. I wish it would have been different. The CLC is going to have the strongest ticket ever put forward. That's no doubt. The CLC will have the strongest ticket ever put forward. And that's a fact. So I'm excited about it. Everybody's excited about it. You have a few people out there yip-yapping, and that's okay. It'll continue to be that way. I praise Mr. Henry because he refuses to acknowledge anything, any negativity. He refuses to be drug into the mud with it. And so I praise him for that, for being a man of integrity. So anyway, I wanted to clear that up. That's the last I'm going to speak of it. That's it. That's all. And so, hey, get on. Damn, it is an hour. I said I'm going to do just a brief episode. And here we are, a fucking hour. Damn it. But get on and listen to Ron Speakman's episode. 4.5 hours now. Charge your phone up. Charge your headsets. Right? And so, y'all have a fantastic week. I will not be on next Sunday. I'll be traveling. I will have one next week. And then I'm going to have Mr. Grosskopf on. I'm going to have Mr. Richie Ray on. I'm going to have Mr. John Poskin on. And, man, we're just getting started. We are just getting started. I'm going to get back into educating. I've got Cole Mallory coming in tomorrow, going to help me with my YouTube, going to get that up and running. I'm going to start doing these episodes for the CLC, educational episodes until we take office, and then Mr. Henry's going to have his own director of education that will take that over. And, man, great days are coming, y'all. It's fucking, the sun is shining again. And so we're going to be a militant, offensive union. We're going on the offensive in 2026 when we take over, right? We will be militant again. It'll be the most militant union the NLC has seen. It will be the most militant with the group we have coming in and the things that we have in store for management. And I can't wait to put them on the defensive like they've had us during these last few years. It's going to be exciting as hell. And I can't wait for y'all to hear about the ticket. You should hear something maybe after the next executive council meeting. Some things come out. We'll see. And then we're going to go from there. Man, and y'all going to be excited. You're going to be excited to be city letter carriers again. Happy days are here again. We're going to sing that walking into clock on from now on, all right? So y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. I will do an episode. I just don't know when next week. I don't know when I'll be back in town. And so I'll talk to y'all next week, all right? I love each and every one of you very much. Each and every one of you. Y'all hear me? Each and every one. Even those that have betrayed me and have tried to hurt me and have not been truthful to me. I love you. I will always love you. And if you need me, I will be there. I promise you that. I will be there. Okay? Y'all take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you later. Bye.